Well, it's just me this week on the Tea with Gigi and Andrew show. Gigi woke up this morning and didn't feel so great, so it's just me today. So I am, well, Alan Douglas has just arrived and I'm on the show, so I will be with you momentarily. Okay. Okay. So this Sunday we have services at 8 and 10:30, and we hope you can join us. And then we do have our new hearing device. It's working, and there were a couple people who got on it this Sunday and had fun being able to hear the service. And if you have any questions about it or you need help with the technology, just, let me know. You can see one of the ushers. They have little cards that can help you with that. Or I can help like debug issues if for some reason your phone's just not quite wanting to behave. This Sunday, the Sunday school class in the parish hall is going to continue. Father Pat is leading it. They've sort of explored the history of the Episcopal Church and then the history of this church and what's happened and where we're going from here. So that's going to be a really great discussion. If you haven't been in on that discussion, you can still join. But if you're looking for an alternative, Adam Bean is leading the forum class, and they are exploring more biblical interpretation. This time they're starting to get into the Middle Ages, which is super exciting. And I think this Sunday, otherwise, we will hear from Marilyn Roddy as our stewardship speaker. Also coming up, which is very important for the church, very important, are vestry nominations. We have paper forms here, and in the weekly email, there will be an actual digital version of it for you to print and fill out and bring in. We're kind of wanting like paper versions because you need to like put a little photo of yourself with it. You can fill those out. Also, if you're wanting to like see someone on vestry, like someone you know is like a really good leader, you can nominate them. Just make sure you have their permission first. That would be great. Also, for signups, the ministry fair is still open. If you have like a ministry you're leading or a part of and you want to represent it, make sure they're all clear with that. And then see Lisa Cope. She is running the ministry fair. All right, we get to delve into some fun stuff. The ECW, Episcopal Church Women, are actually doing some holiday stuff ahead of time so that there's enough time to process it. It's the Empty Stocking Fund. They're working with the Knoxville or Knox County Public Library system to provide children with books to fill their stockings, which, is important that kids get to read, especially for the holidays, because books are still not cheap. We just had a speaker today at the Brotherhood breakfast, and she says she remembers when a $10 book, I think back in the 70s, was like, that was going too far. And like, even for me, a $30 book is like, oh my goodness, like every hardback is the same price. They've become like unified. We are also gearing up for the All Hallows Eve service and Boo Bash. That is on Sunday, October 28th. And if you are feeling inclined to dress up and act out a little bit, you can come for that, or you can decorate your trunk. There are certain parishioners who shall remain nameless who really know how to decorate the back end of a car. And so the trunk or treat returns every year now. Sometimes it's a competition, so like they'll do like a little award ceremony where they vote it, but this year we're just saying show us your best effort. Also, one of the things that's near and dear to my heart is the following Sunday. So November the 4th is All Saints Sunday. And we're asking everyone, if you have someone you want to remember, someone you, oh, hey, Seth. Sorry, Seth used to be at church here before he moved. So if you have someone you would like to remember, we aren't doing the table of the narthex. We're doing something even cooler. We're asking you to bring your at least 8 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11, we'll give you that, ish size photo, and you put it in the windowsill, because our windows are reachable. So you put the photo of your loved one in the window. So that way we're surrounded by everyone that we love. And we miss you too, Seth. Seth was a Eucharistic minister, loved it. So that is our big All Saints thing. The Scola will be chanting. Which I should say, they're chanting tonight at evening prayer at 5:45. It's going to be fun. We'll start chanting a little early with some pre-service chanting just to warm up and to set the tone. Other fun thing, the Ascension Trekkers are continuing their fall hikes. They're doing a couple of slightly more moderate hikes in November, and they're also doing their easy series. So I think they're going to Maryville Greenway. Well, it's part of Alcoa Maryville Greenway for their easy hikes. Details on that in your bulletin, in the weekly email. You can read it during the sermon, or as Adam Bean once said, ironically, you can read it during the announcements. There's that. Also, you know how obsessed we are with food around here. This coming week is, I think, number 2 or 3 on my favorites list. It's the sausage rice casserole. It is so delicious, and it comes with roasted autumn vegetables, mixed greens with mandarin oranges, almonds, and feta cheese, and a baked apple crisp. And if you haven't had Julie Teglis's baked apple crisp, it is delicious. And it comes with vanilla ice cream. Who can hate that? Now, you Episcopalians, of which I am one now, don't like giving testimonies. We don't like talking about our past experiences. And when we get anywhere near close to that warm, fuzzy feeling of the Holy Spirit, we start to shy away. But there are some brave souls, 6 souls to be in fact, who are going to give their testimony of when God or the Holy Spirit has worked in their lives and they recognized it as such. That is this coming Wednesday night's program. Now, a lot of you showed up for Bishop Brian's presentation. That was awesome. Let's keep that energy up and keep it going for Wednesday nights. It was so cool to see so many people there. Maybe Bishop Brian should show up every Wednesday night, and then we'd actually have a really nice little crowd going. Other fun things, so I'm kind of delving into children's news. The Tweens and the Boys and Girls Choir, which was a fun bunch. I actually got to conduct them last night in a rehearsal. They were so cute and pretty well behaved, even with the substitute teacher. They're going out to the Corn Maze. This is on Saturday, October 27th. Tweens is like grades 3 through 5. But the kids choir has a little broader range. It's a kids choir tradition to go to the Corn Maze, and then tweens kind of joined in because it's just fun. So you go out to a Corn Maze during the day when it's not haunted, and then you do the Corn Maze, and then you come back, and a couple of our longtime parishioners, the Verbas, will come in and cook a hot dog cookout. And it's usually, if it's good weather, up by the fire pit. So it's a fun time had by all, and I just, I like to kind of chime in sometimes. It's right before the Halloween show, so I'm usually practicing while they're gone. I take advantage of the time. It's Mama Jean. I know. I wish Gigi would get better soon too. I haven't gotten the sniffles yet. I usually am so much around her that I would like get the sniffles if she got it, but I haven't gotten it. So in Gigi's absence, I will try to cover the Ascension Youth announcements. Food for the youths. Keep those delicious dinners coming because the leftovers, I get to eat them. The middle schoolers need meals on 11/28. It's around Thanksgiving time, a little after that. And then forward. So Thanksgiving time and after they need help. And the high school dinners, they need someone on the All Saints Sunday that evening on 11/4. If you place your orders for Ascension gear, and it was actually a very large order, It will arrive near the end of the month, but if you happen to forget to do an order, to place an order, there are a couple of extra of each size that have been ordered, so we may have one for you yet. Just see Gigi Logan for details. And also, if you are part of the Ascension Youth, there is a Halloween party this coming Sunday evening at St. Elizabeth's in Farragut. That's where Brett went. Will Simmerly is like orchestrating this or helping with this key event. And Gracie Dover was cooking up Halloween games. And we were coming up with creative name for Halloween games. And some of them are going to be really, really funny. I'm not going to spoil it because they're that good. Also, in your bulletin this Sunday, if you are an early service person and you know who you are, your bulletin changed to this size, right? And it's because we were kind of tired of, well, I was tired of chopping down the announcements to fit into the format. And we felt like there's just so much going on now that you shouldn't miss it. Uh-oh. Eat it froze. Oh, there it goes. We didn't want you to miss anything. So we decided just to switch to this format. And it also allows us to do a large print version, which is, you know, sort of accessible, and we like that. But in this Sunday's bulletin, there is an insert, but it's stapled in. But fun fact, in the early service, if you're at the early service, you're lucky, you can pluck it out. It's in the middle of a season of prayer for an election. It's really cool. And it's got little prayers in each little section. And they come out of the BCP. So they sourced the Forward Movement, actually sourced it just right out of the Book of Common Prayer. And they made that. You can take your bulletin home and keep that with you and pray it every day, because voting is open. And, you know, hop on in. I heard it's like everyone that stops in, usually everyone stops in on their way from voting, and they're like, the crowds. And I'm like, I'm really voting. This is awesome. Lastly, I don't think there's anything crazy I'm going to talk about. If you perchance are going through a hard time, or maybe you know of someone that is, or you know, something you need to report, right? The clergy have noticed that a lot of people are sending stuff directly to like Tristan, or actually I've gotten some. That's not quite the way we hope to sort of channel that information. What you will want to do is in the back of your bulletin, or at the bottom of this week's email, or in the parish paper, or in this picture right here, you can freeze frame it if you need to see it. There are email lists for everyone's last name. You do it according to your last name. And you send an email to either Shepherd1 or Shepherd2 at KnoxvilleAscension.org. And you say, hey, my mother just died. Or, hey, I'm sick, I'm in the hospital. Or, you know, my son is just going through something. Or my daughter's going through something. You can email that list, and that will help direct information where it needs to go. All the clergy are on those lists. It's not just those people listed underneath. The people who are listed underneath those emails usually help coordinate the ancillary services besides the clergy. So that way the clergy aren't going, now what ministry does what again for what? The shepherds know, okay, they just had a baby, so they're going to need this and this and this. So make sure you use this no one walks alone section. Okay? All right? Cool beans. Well, everyone, I hope that was informative and not terribly boring. I know a solo show is not the greatest thing in the world. But, oh, hello, Jennifer Monroe. But we hope you find lots to do around about Ascension. And we hope to see you at 8 or 10:30 this Sunday. And you can actually listen to this on our podcast as well. We hope you have a great weekend. And that is all, folks. Bye.